They sold him to the merchants. And one of the brother was not there present when he was sold. So when he came back and they said, what happened to him? What did you do? You killed him? Say, no, we sold him to the merchants and they're going to take him and sell him in Egypt for a slave. So they said, let's take his coat. And they kill a goat and they dip the coat in the blood of the goat. So the goat was, all the blood from the goat was all over the coat. So it looked like he was torn apart by some kind of, crazy animal, and that he was dead. So they went home with this sad story and they said, Dad, do you know we found this? Do you recognize this coat? This coat looked like Joseph. Do you think it is Joseph's coat? The father took it and he said, yes, it's Joseph's coat. Oh my God, what happened? They said, we don't know. We found it. So the father confirmed that it must have been one of those ferocious animals that tore him to pieces and killed him. So the father tore his robe and he went into mourning. He was like sick to his stomach because his son is gone. Anyway, they kept it a secret. And all this secret, these boys would not tell their father what really happened. But as I said, Joseph, in his heart, he had favor from God. And although he was afraid, he went humble with the new people that owned him. And he went into their camp and they stayed with them. They took him to Egypt and they sold him to Potiphar. Now, Potiphar was the king of Egypt. And Joseph was so God-fearing that God favored him over and over. And Potiphar liked him and he became the head person in Potiphar's house. Then while he was there working, and he was a slave to Potiphar, but Potiphar loved him so much that he treated him like his own. But guess what happened? The woman, you women, you got to be careful of us, right? So Potiphar's wife was in love with him secretly. So one day, Joseph went into the house to do something. The Potiphar's wife hold on to his coat and tried to make much of him and said, why don't you come sleep with me? And Joseph said, I could never do such a thing because your husband loved me so much and he expects so much of me. I would not do such a thing. And that is against everything that I believe in. So when she held on to him, he just let the coat go. And he let the coat slip right off him and left it and ran out of the house. So now he left his coat behind. And Potiphar's wife held on to the coat. As she held on to the coat, she screamed out and she called her servants and said, Joseph tried to rape me. Here is his coat. I held on to it. When I screamed, he ran and leave his coat right beside me. So her husband, Potiphar, was very upset and he put Joseph in prison. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to tell you how, although we are afraid to do and to follow our dreams and to do what we're supposed to do, but we have to stay focused no matter what. We just stay focused. So Joseph stayed focused and true to his belief. And as he focused and did all the things right, even when he was in prison, he prayed to his God and he kept the things that he believed in and he stayed focused. Now, while he was there, it so happened that Potiphar had two other servants, the baker that, do all the cooking in the kitchen, and the cupbearer. Now, the cupbearer is the person in the palace that tastes everything that the king is going to eat and drink. and he's always behind the king with the cup. So the cupbearer was very disturbed. And the same night in prison that he was disturbed, the baker was also disturbed. And Joseph observed it, and he asked them what's going on. And they said, we both had a dream and we are very disturbed. And Joseph said, tell me your dream. Because I had dreams over and over that God explained to me what's going to happen. And so I will just do whatever the dream it means. I will tell you just as it is. As he gives it to me, I will give it to you. So Joseph decided to listen to them. So the cupbearer said, in my dream, I saw that I was in the palace and I was doing the same thing that I used to do. And I took the cup and I gave it to the king, and 2 ravens came and lift the cup, and something happened. And anyway, Joseph said, in 3 days, you will be restored to your position. You will get out of prison. Potiphar will take you out and give you your position back. So he was happy. And it happened exactly as Joseph said. And their faith was made, whole. But the baker said, and what about me? He said, my dream was same way. I saw three like ravens or birds or whatever it was came down and stayed on top of my head. And the 3 of them came, and I was, something went wrong with my head. And Joseph told him the meaning of the dream. And he said, in 3 days, you're going to be beheaded. They're going to take your head off, and they're going to tie your body up and for everybody to see. And I'm sorry, but you're going to be killed. So he was so sad and everything. But just as he said, it happened. So now Joseph even said to them, when you all get out of here to the cupbearer, I hope that you will show me some favor for what I've done for you. All right? Remember to tell the king that I didn't do what they said I did, and see if they will help to get me out of here. Anyway, the cupbearer forgot everything about it. Like our friends, our friends, they want something, we give it to them, and when they go, they forget everything about us. All right, so to continue with this story, it's kind of long. We might have to do it in 2 parts. But anyway, this is what happened. They completely forget about Joseph, and he spent another 2 years in prison. But then Potiphar himself had a dream. And Potiphar's dream was this. He dreamt that there were some fat cows in the valley. They were nice and fat. And there were 5 cows, nice cows. But then he saw 5 meager, ugly looking cows came up. And all the meager, ugly looking cows ate up the fat, juicy cows. All 5 of them. And he fell back asleep. And when he fell back asleep, he had another dream. And this was his other dream. He saw 5 beautiful branches of fruits and everything. And then he saw some really skinny corn that's not well done and didn't grow up right. And those meager ones, again, that's not well developed, went over and devoured the healthy ones. And he was really disturbed. And he couldn't find all the soothsayers and the magicians and everybody in Egypt. He called to tell him what his dream was, and nobody could tell him. So then he was worried. Now, the cupbearer remembered that this happened in the prison, that he had a dream and he needed to know what was going on. And there was a man in prison named Joseph who told him the meaning of his dream. So now that Joseph had told him that, now he's remembering that he had promised Joseph to tell Potiphar about it. So he said, "My Lord, in prison we met a man named Joseph. He used to work with you, and he was wrongfully put in prison. But this man, if no one else can, he can tell you about your dream." So Potiphar sent for Joseph, take him out of prison, let him take a good bath, put on clothes, and he was all dressed up to go to see Potiphar at his house. So Joseph went to Potiphar's house, and while he was there, Potiphar's got a robe and put around him, fixed him up real nice, and let him look good and say, "Joseph, now I called for you because I hear that you can tell us about my dream." So Joseph told Potiphar about what he dreamt. He said, "God gave dreams, and God gave the answer to dreams. And here is what you dreamt." He told him what he dreamt about the cows, and he told him everything that happened. And Joseph explained to him that the 5 fat cows are the years when we're going to have plenty. Egypt is going to fill with grains and a lot of food, and they're going to have a year of plenty. Everything is going to be so plentiful. And the meager cows are the years where it's going to be lean years. It's going to be a famine in the land, and people are going to die for hunger. It's going to be bad, like what we're having now. The COVID-19 are killing people off, and we had good years. Now we have bad years. So this is what is happening now, Potiphar. So what I would recommend, that you find a man who is smart and who can discern things and who can do good and who will plan ahead and get some real big warehouses, and during the time of plenty, fill these houses with all that you can find, all the food you can find, and have it all protected so that when the lean years come, you will have enough food for the Egyptians and for the neighboring cities. So Potiphar said, "Well, who should I find? I think you are the man. So I am going to make you my prime minister. The only person will be have more power than you will be me, Potiphar. So I'm going to take off my ring off my finger and I'm putting it on yours. This is my signet ring, that whatever you say is law. So from now on, I'm going to give you houses, cars, and I'm going to give you whoever you choose to be your wife. And you will be my prime minister." So now Joseph has found favor in Potiphar. And Potiphar seemed like he had favor from God. So that was faith, that was fear, then faith, as we have to exercise it, faith, and now we find favor. But he has to focus. Okay, so bring up the plan together, and he created this plan, and he filled the warehouses till they were overflowing. And it so happened that in Canaan, where his father lived, the famine was there, and people were dying, and there was no food. So his father, Jacob, said, "Okay, I want you boys to go down to Egypt and buy some food." And so the boys got together, they get their camels, they get their everything prepared, and they went down to Egypt. and they found this man, Joseph. And they were so, afraid of him too, because he was so elegant and so powerful, and he was the prime minister. So I'm saying that to say that if you focus, even though you're afraid, and you have faith and you exercise your faith by taking action, you can get things done and you will find favor in God or the universe or whatever you think it is. But they all go together because you have greatness within you. So Joseph had it all arranged in Egypt. All the warehouses were filled and food, and now his father and his brethren were coming down. He had no clue, and they had no clue. So they came down, and when he saw them at first, he recognized them, and he asked, how many of you, who do I think you guys are spies, and we're going to put you in prison? Why are you coming from Canaan? And we don't deal with Canaanites and all this type of thing, because they had prejudice too. So anyway, long story short, they get their grains and everything, and he said he's keeping one of the brothers in prison, and he asked about, so you have another brother. He said, you said there was 12 of you and one died, so how did that one die? And they told him that, something happened to him. He's no longer anymore. And he said, and what about the little one? And then he said, my father kept him because he will not let him go since whatever happened to the other one. So you can go read this story, right? This story is found in the Bible. And so what happened now when the father heard that they came back and that one of them was left in prison, and while they were on their way and they went to open their bags, they found all the money that they took to purchase the food came back with them, and now they're afraid. So when that food ran out, they had to go back to Egypt. Their father said, okay, you have to go back. We'll carry the money back that was left in your sack and carry extra money to buy more. And, tell him you're really sorry for what happened, but it was not your intention. Anyway, when they went back, the same thing happened. And they were just so, Joseph was overwhelmed when he saw his little brother. And he went a little ways away from them and cried. But eventually, he revealed himself to them. It's a long story, so I can't go into all of it right now. But I just want to show you how fear turned into faith, and faith into focus, and focus into favor. And this is for all of us to realize that that's what we have to do. It's a plan, and you have to work your plan and make your plan come to fruition. Okay? So you have greatness within you. And the long story of it all, Joseph was able to reunite with his father, his brother, and everybody came to live in Egypt. They had food and more than they could ever have. And the story came out that he was not dead, but he's alive, and that his brother had sold him. So you will be sold out by your brothers. You'll be sold out by your friends. You'll be sold out by your family. But you can be restored. But just like Joseph had his dream, keep your dream alive, and keep on dreaming, my friend. Keep on dreaming, because you have greatness within you. Right? So when you leave this place today, remember that you have to use faith, even though you're afraid. You have to focus, and you will get favor. So say that, said and done. You had a wonderful evening. It's grace before you. Have a great one. And I'm over and out. And that is my story for now. And I'm sticking to it. Ciao.